Okay, so we're doing division with radicals. The thing. Okay, remember yesterday you can only multiply normal numbers, square roots with square roots. So that's the same thing with division. So if I have square root of 6 divided by square root of 3, what would that equal, do you guys think?
Would 1. Wait, just
Square root of 2.
joke. That was the joke.
Square root of 2, good one, Brady. But what if I did square root of 6 divided by 3? Does not simplify. Okay. Also, if you have a square root in the denominator, you're not supposed to leave it there. Okay, it's not simplified. So how do we get rid of it? This little trick right here. If you multiply it by itself, what happens? Well, if I multiply the top and bottom by square root of 6, this is like multiplying by 1, so it keeps the value the same. Square root of 6 divided by square root of 6 is 1. If I multiply the bottom by square root of 6, what would it turn into?
3 square root of 6 over 6.
It would turn into a normal 6, right? So that gets rid of my square root thing on the bottom. That's why we did it. The top is 3 square root of 6. Can I do anything else to this?
No.
Divide by
3 and 6 can reduce. They're both normal. These cannot reduce, cannot divide. These can. So that would be 1 and 2. So it would be square root of 6 over 2. Okay. So square roots with square roots can be divided, can't mix, can't leave a square root on the denominator. That's below most of it. We'll get to the rest of it as we go. Alright, number 1. We're doing 1 through 22.
Oh boy.
And number 1 has the problem we just talked about. 2 over square root of 5.
Non-doable.
Casinos do this.
The Casios can do this.
Yes!
So you multiply the top and bottom by square root of 5. Well, they can do this one. They can't do the cube root still.
I got it.
Yeah, it's just 2 square root of 5. Might be easier just to do that than actually plug it in your calculator, right? That was pretty fast. Number 3. 5 square root of 3 over square root of 2. Oops. So, same thing. Times by square root of 2. So what's that going to be?
5 squared of 6.
5 square root of 6 over 2. And make sure that doesn't reduce, right? It doesn't. Okay, number 5. 48 over square root of 6.
Can you reduce square root of 7 to square root over square root?
Yes. Square roots can divide by square root of 7. Reduce. So what do? Shouldn't put the equals. Times square root of 6 times square root of 6. So the top is 48 square root of 6. The bottom is 6. Does that reduce?
Yeah.
48 divided by 6 is
8.
it's 8 square root of 6. No problem with the cube roots on.
11.
11, okay. So 7 is 5 over 2i. So just like you can't leave a square root on the bottom, you're not supposed to leave an I on the bottom. Okay, because I, is square root of -1, so technically it is a square root.
What do you multiply by?
Guess how I'm going to get rid of it.
Multiply by I.
Alright. Doesn't matter that the 2's down there, it's okay. Just leave the 2 alone.
Now you have -2, right?
Right.
You have negative.
Good. So the top is 5i, the bottom is 2i squared, and yeah, Brady was right. That's 2 times -1, so it's -2. So usually it doesn't really matter, but they put the negative in the middle, like that. If one thing in your fraction is negative, the whole fraction is negative. Doesn't really matter where you put it, though. 'Cause a positive divided by a negative or negative divided by positive is still negative. Alright, number 9. 1 over square root of negative 7. So on this one, I would start by just changing it to 1 over I squared 7. Guess what I'm going to do on this one? Multiply by I squared 7. So the top is I squared 7. Bottom, what's I times I? Negative 1. What's square root of 7 times square root of 7? 7. Negative 1 times 7. So you can stop there. I'll be pretty negative in the middle. Alright. Number 11, cubed root. These the Cassios cannot do. Alright. Cubed root of 2/3, by the way, is the same thing as cubed root of 2 over cubed root of 3. Okay, just like you can't leave a square root in the bottom, you can't leave a cubed root. You're not supposed to leave a radical on the bottom. So how could I fix it? Well, I need something that has a cubed root. 3 does not have a cubed root. What does have a cubed root?
No.
9 has a square root.
12.
27.
No.
27 has a cubed root, right? 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So the cubed root of 27 is 3. So how do I turn this into a 27? Times 9, times cubed root of 9. I could do times cubed root of 3 times cubed root of 3. That's a lot of writing, so we'll just say it's 9. So the top is cubed root of 18. Is that going to simplify?
Yeah, right? 16? No.
Okay, what numbers have cube roots? 2 to the third is 8. 3 to the third is 27. So that's already too big. 8 does not go into 18. So no, there's no triples in 18. 18 is like 3 times 3 times 2. So there's no triple. It doesn't simplify. No. But the bottom is cube root of 27, which, what is, I'm not going to write it over there. What is the cube root of 27? 3. That's why we did it. So the bottom is cleaned. It's purified. Okay. 13 is another cube root.
What?
Yes, it is. 2 cube root of 8 over cube root of 2. There's a couple ways we can do this. What is the cube root of 8? 2. So we could just change that to a 2, and then, so the top would be 2 times 2 is 4, and then we get rid of the cube root on the bottom. It's probably actually an easier way though, because these are both cube roots and they're divisible. You can go ahead and divide it. So what is 8 divided by 2?
Sorry,
4.
I'm like not.
One of those days, huh? Anyway, can cube root of 4 be simplified?
No.
No. Do we need to fix it? No.
Yes.
It's not on the bottom, so it's okay. So, yeah, that makes it a lot easier than the other way.
Wait, that's the answer?
Yeah, because it's divisible.
It does not simplify, it's not in the denominator. It's okay.
Excuse me, what? Can the Cassiners do 15?
15. Yeah, they can do. Oh, no, it's a 4th root. They cannot do that.
Should I be scared?
So on 15, we're going to change it to radical form and then we'll fix it. Do you guys remember what 7 to the 3/4 meant? only like 5 days ago. Means 7 to the third,
Or
4th root of that.
Whoa.
This one's kind of a challenging one. Yeah, Cassio cannot do this.
do this?
No, I can't.
How can I get rid of the radical? It's a 4th root, so
You.
Put my square root of 7.
close. Yeah, I think you had the right idea, but you said it wrong. Why would I multiply by the 4th root of 7?
Because that would make it.
Make it 7 to the 4th. And what's the 4th root of 7 to the 4th? 7. I don't know what 7 to the 4th is. I don't really need to know, because the 4th root of 7 to the 4th I know is going to be 7. So you know what you said wrong, Eden.
Oh, yeah, I said square root.
Okay, so the top would be 3 4th root of 7. And the bottom would be 7.
What happened to the cube? Is 7 cubed?
7 to the 3rd times 7 would be 7 to the 4th. Then we multiply those together. We have 3 7s multiplied together and a 4th.
Oh, okay.
So we got this, and then
Um,
that cancels out.
Okay.
You get 7. Mr. Odell got that song in my head. Okay, number 17. This is short and sweet. What is the conjugate of 7 plus square root of 2? We're going to need to know this in a second.
7 minus square root of 2.
7 minus square root of 2. Remember what was special about conjugates?
When you FOIL them, the middle changes.
Right. When you FOIL them, the middle cancels out. And the middle on these problems happens to be like square roots. So it's a way, if you have one of these these two-term binomial things, you can get rid of the square root by multiplying by the conjugate, which we're going to do here in a second. So 19 is just, what's the conjugate? I'm going to write that. Okay, I will. What's the conjugate for 19?
3 plus 4.
3 plus 4. Okay, if it had said, instead of 3 minus 4i, if it had said minus 3 minus 4i, what would the conjugate of that be?
3 plus 4.
No, it would just be negative 3 plus 4i. So you only switch the thing in the middle. Doesn't matter what the front is. Okay, anyway, that's 19.
So we're not.
Why did I say 22? I think that's wrong.
No, it's not.
No, it is, because we need to do these problems. I think
You're
either
right.
I put it down wrong on GreenWeb or I forgot what I
You're
put
right.
down.
We're only going to 20. I think that's what.
Okay, so change plans. We are doing, better do at least 3 of these. We'll go to 28.
What?
Whoa,
Whoa,
down there.
Got too much different shit.
You guys want to do 30? Is that what the complaining about?
I didn't hear you. Did you do
Just 30.
Shut up, Drew. You really ouchie.
Okay,
Yeah, it's pressed up.
So what happened to 17 and 19?
we did it and moved
Oh,
on.
okay.
21 is the 4th root of 4 over the 4th root of 8. Okay, there's 2 ways to do this one again. Which way is easier? Probably about the same. Okay, we could reduce, or we could fix the bottom first. Which one do you guys want to do?
Reduce.
1 or 2?
Whichever
Okay.
one is easier.
I think it's a tie. So if we reduce, that would be 4 over 8 is 1 over 2, right? So it's not just 1/2 is not the answer. It's 4th root of 1 over 4th root of 2. What is the 4th root of 1?
1.
1. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1.
So you change that to normal 1.
Okay, but the bottom, okay, I'll just not write that down. Okay, I need something with a fourth root to get rid of the 2. So
Plus 2 to the 4th.
I got 1, 2 there. I need
Times 8.
right times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to I basically need 2 to the third. 3 more 2s, which is 8.
16.
I don't. it would be an 8.
Yeah, 16. 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You just thought.
Well, I'm never gonna write. I could write down fourth root of 16, but I'm never actually gonna write that down
Yeah.
because I just know that that's gonna turn into a normal 2. Because basically we've got 4 2s multiplied down here. So the top, this kind of disappears, right? It's a 1 times fourth root of 8 is just fourth root of 8. And the bottom is fourth root of 16, which is just a normal 2. Does that reduce?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Saved it.
Saved it.
We were scammed. Yeah, we really were.
Yeah, that was funny. Remember when that happened? 5 minus square root of 5 over square root of 7. Okay, what do I do? I'm speeding up. Times square root of 7. So the top would be a distributive problem. Top would be a distributive problem. You gotta multiply all the top, not just part of it, by square root of 7. So square root of 7 times 5 is 5 square root of 7. Minus square root of 5 times square root of 7. Over square root of 7 times square root of 7. Does that reduce? No. If it, if it did reduce, you'd want to, you'd have to reduce both of them. Number 25, okay, this is the first one of this kind. Square root of 5 minus 6. Okay, when you have, darn it, hate that. When you have 2 terms, you can't just multiply by square root of 5. If I multiply by square root of 5, that would turn into a 5, but that would turn into a 6 square root of 5, so I'd still have a square root on the bottom. So what you have to do when there's 2 terms like that is multiply by its conjugate. Square root of 5 plus 6. And the top. Square root of 5 plus 6. Okay, remember when you're foiling the bottom, really all you have to do is the first and the last with conjugates. But the top is more like a distributive problem. 8 square root of 5 plus 48. Okay, the bottom, square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. And minus 6 times positive 6. So the bottom is negative 31. So it's 8 square root of 5 plus 48 over negative 31. I'm going to leave negative down there this time. I'm regretting that we're only doing a few of these. Alright, whatever. Alright, 27. We'll live. We will live somehow. 2 square root of 3 over square root of 6 plus 2.
Your kid is making a double assignment.
Heck,
Did you say heck no?
yeah. Okay, what do I do?
Conjugate.
Conjugate. What's the conjugate?
Square root of 6 minus 2.
I think the calculators might be able to do this. Have you tried it yet?
I tried it on 25.
Last one. top, remember, it's distributive. So it's 2, and then square root of 3 times square root of 6 is square root of 18. We'll have to come back to that because square root of 18 simplifies, right? And then 2 times 2 right there is 4, so it's minus 4 square root of 3. And then the bottom conjugate, so first square root of 6 times square root of 6. 2 times minus 2, minus 4. So we got a couple things. Square root of 18 simplifies. 6 minus 4 is 2, obviously. Okay. Yeah. 18 is 9 times 3, and 9 times 2, and 9 is 3 times 3. So it's 3 square root of 2. So it's 2 times 3 square root of 2, 6 square root of 2. Okay, can we do anything else?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, both of these, and it has to work on both of them, are divisible by 2. So we can reduce that, or divide that. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 3 squared 2 minus 2 squared 3. The end. Happy day. Alright, that was fun. What are you talking about?
That's like going to an amusement park, but with things.
Are you speaking?
I said it's like going to an amusement park with lots of rides.
Your face
I
is...
just thought
That
it's my face, just my face.
It's like...
Is it making you
One,
sad or
2000, and you
disappointed?
tried to do it, like,
Shouldn't have recorded that last part.